In this video, I'll show you how to replace duplicate values with blanks and only retain last unique occurrences in Excel. So if you're new to my channel, I've already created another video on this topic in which I went through how to do this using the COUNTIF formula and also a helper column. Now in this video, I'm going to be using an array formula which uses BIRO and the lambda function, and it is a much shorter and much more efficient method, and it's only one formula and you don't even have to drag it down. So if you haven't watched my previous video yet, the link to that video is available in the description box. That said, let's get right to it. As you can see here, I have a data set consisting of order dates. The order dates are sorted in ascending manner, so we have from January 1st up to January 6th. What we want to accomplish here is we want a formula that will give us the last unique instance of each order date and to return blank for all duplicates. For example, in this case, we want the formula to return blank for these first three rows and return January 1 in this cell over here. Once we go to January 2, we want all duplicate instances to be blank, and we want our formula to only return the last unique instance of January 2. Same thing with January 3, January 4, January 5, etc. So the cells that are highlighted right here and selected, these are the cells in which we want our formula to return the value from column A. And all other cells must be blank. So how to do that? The array formula we're going to be using to accomplish this is currently displayed on the screen over here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this formula in cell B2. And after inserting the formula, I'll briefly explain how the formula functions. Put equal sign, and then I'll put the formula, and then I'll click on enter. And there you go. The formula has been automatically applied. So there's no need to even drag this formula down. It just applies automatically once you insert it in the first cell of your range. And as you can see, it references source range, and what it does is it replaces all duplicates with blanks and it returns the last unique value. And that's how it works. And this is very convenient and very quick, and the previous approach I used using COUNTIF also worked in my previous video on this topic, but then you had to create two columns, one column and then a helper column. With this formula, you just need one formula and you don't even need to drag it down. And this is giving us exactly what we want, and that's how it works. Now I'm going to quickly explain how this formula functions. So as you can see, this formula starts with the BIRO function in Excel. What the BIRO function does is, this is a function that applies a specific operation to each row in the range. That is, in this case, in the A2 through A21 range. And you can think of this as going down the list from A2 to A21 and checking each item one by one. Then we have the lambda function. The lambda function defines a custom function without a name. Here, it takes each cell in the range as row and it applies the if condition to it. This is like assigning a task to check each item, which we're calling a row, to see whether or not it's being repeated. The next part of the formula is the COUNTIF portion. And this function counts how many times the content of the current row appears from its own position down to cell A21 over here. So imagine you're at a particular item in your list and you're starting counting how many times you're seeing that same item from there to the end of the list. That is, in this case, until cell A21. And finally, this if statement, which surrounds the COUNTIF, checks if the count from the COUNTIF is more than 1. If it is, it returns an empty string, such as how it's doing in cell B2. Otherwise, it will return the original value of the cell. And that's what's happening, for example, in cells B5 and B8 and other cells where a value is being returned. So in other words, this part decides what to do based on the count. If there are duplicates below the current item, it turns that cell blank. So overall, by combining all these parts together, this formula efficiently checks each item in your list for duplicates below its position. If duplicates are found, those cells are cleared and are replaced with blanks, except for the last occurrence. And this helps clean your list by only showing the last appearance of each item and hiding all other duplicates. And that's how it's done. And as you can see, this is a very efficient method. You only have to insert the formula once and you don't even need to drag it down, as opposed to my previous tutorial on this topic in which I demonstrated how to do this using a COUNTIF and a helper column. I hope you found this video useful and got some value out of it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe and also turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future videos. See you soon.